So today we're going to talk about compounding pharmacies. So what is a compounding pharmacy? So a compounding pharmacy is basically a pharmacy that's governed by the FDA and typically their local or state board of pharmacy. And what they do is they basically take medications and make them a bit more tailored for the patient. So what would need to be tailored to a patient? Basically, we're all unique, and oftentimes commercially available medications just don't fit the needs of a specific patient. So these pharmacies take these commercially available medications and they can change their format. So they can make a pill into sometimes a cream or a liquid, and it can be applied either topically or they can ingest it via liquid. Oftentimes, children are a good example of this. If there's a specific pill form medication that they need that isn't available in a liquid, a compounding pharmacy can make it into a liquid and oftentimes give it flavoring to make the child like it much better. So patients' bodies oftentimes react differently to the same medication as well. And that's where these compounding pharmacies come in another way to help change the formulation a little bit, or sometimes they'll add something to it to help the patient's body react in a favorable way to it. Another way a compounding pharmacy can help is by changing the dosing or the strength of the medication. Again, sometimes commercially available medications don't come in all of the available strengths that would be suitable for a patient, and so they can change the dose of a specific pill that will help the patient absorb it better or react to their body better. Another thing a compounding pharmacy can do is sometimes a medication is discontinued, then that compounding pharmacy can reformulate or recreate that medication for the patient. It's important to know that all the pharmacies we use are FDA approved. They're all also approved by their state board of pharmacy. So you can rest assured that all the medications that come from our practice come from reputable FDA approved pharmacies. Oftentimes compounding pharmacies deal with more generics, and so the difference between a brand name and a generic is basically the brand name would be something like Motrin. A generic form of Motrin is called ibuprofen. So it's basically the same medication, but one is a brand name and one isn't. Another good example would be Tylenol is a brand name, but its generic form is called acetaminophen. So both of these forms are the exact same medication. They do the exact same thing in the body, but one of them, sometimes you pay a little bit more for the brand name than you do for the generic, but it's the exact same medication and designed to do the exact same thing. Compounding pharmacies, when they make medications or compound them, they take a base form. This base form is typically purchased in bulk by the pharmacy and then altered either to help with absorption in the body or altered in a sense that it can be taken in a different form. For example, an injection versus a pill versus a cream. But really the primary purpose of the base form is to help enhance absorption, and the compounding pharmacy is able to alter that structure in order to make it both safe and effective for the patient. So all of our compounding pharmacies use a very safe and effective base form when they're making these medications that we prescribe for you. So if any of you have any questions regarding compounding pharmacies or how the whole process works, please feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you more in depth about the whole process.